4 hours and 43 minutes. I did cry a lot. It reads the way that sunscreen smells, and there's no other way that I can explain it. Good morning, guys. Welcome to a new book video. I'm going to do something really exciting today. Well, I'm scared, but I'm going to read last week's screen time. So every day I'm going to look at the screen time of that day last week, and I'm going to read that amount of time. And I didn't have the best screen time week, so I'm really scared. I'm going to talk you through each day what my screen time was and why, because I feel the very deep urge to explain to you what I've been doing on my phone for hours, and I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm excited to read more. I have to read for 2 hours and 45 minutes today. I'll talk to you later about all of it, but I right now just want to read. I worked all morning. I'm definitely a little tired. The sun is out. I have a break. So it's time to just pick out a book and read, and then we'll catch up later. So let's go to my bookshelf, which is right here. I was already kind of reading something. Wait. I was reading Autumn by Karl Ove Knausgård. It's very good, but I'm not in the mood for that right now. I need a bit more of a page turner, if you will, so I'm gonna pick up a romance. And this is the only one on the shelf that I haven't read yet. This is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Something very important you need to know about me is that the first romance that I read in English after a long reading break and everything that got me back into reading was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and I loved it so much. This follows a girl called Percy, and she gets this family vacation home by a lake, and her neighbors is the Florek family, and she becomes best friends with Sam. It's a childhood friends to lovers, second chance romance type of story. Beautiful, lovely, definitely a little bit controversial, but this book is finally going to follow Sam's brother, Charlie. I didn't know that she was going to release this, and I was just browsing the bookstore looking for something to read, and then I saw a new Carly Fortune release, so I was already excited. And then I read Florek on the back, and I was like, oh, Charlie Florek redemption arc? Oh my god. So I know very little about it. I am not even going to read the back. I know that a grandma is involved, and I think the girl, her name starts with an A. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. But I'm going to sit outside in the sun and read a Carly Fortune summer romance. I'm really excited because I feel like, just like Emily Henry, she really has it down to write a book that's the equivalent of the scent of sunscreen. That is really what it is. I only have that with Emily Henry books. I'm staring at Happy Place as I'm talking to you right now. It smells like it reads the way that sunscreen smells, and there's no other way that I can explain it. It's just that Carly Fortune does that really well, even if the rest of the story isn't really like riveting or whatever. It's fun reads, and it's so summery, and she really sets the tone very, very well. So I'm so excited, if you couldn't tell. I also think that The Summer of Broken Rules, I don't remember the author's name, but I'll put it on the screen. The Summer of Broken Rules is one of those stories as well, where it just felt so summery and it really had the vibes down. I love that. That's kind of all I need right now. So I'm excited. I'll keep you posted. I'm going to start a timer. You live from my favorite spot in the backyard, this little swinging chair. It's so comfortable. Everything is so gorgeous out today, so I'm having a really good time reading. I've been hopping around different seating areas in our backyard and just reading, so really enjoying the vibes. And I am 50 pages in right now, and I'm having so much fun. The way that this starts out, you meet Alice, who's a photographer. She's super burnt out actually, and she's just working, and then her grandma has a bit of an accident and she decides to take care of her, and grandma's just sad and feeling gloomy, and they went to this lake town years and years ago, and she has such fond memories. Also within her photography craft, the place is very significant to her. She decides, after looking through some photos, being nostalgic, to take her grandma to that lake town and to rent the cottage from a family member. I just got to the part where she's like arrived, settled, first whole day there, you know. So I feel like everything is still very much an introduction, but I'm having a lot of fun, and this is exactly what I needed, and it's exactly the pace that I need right now, especially if I'm going to be reading a lot of hours this week. I feel like the introduction to the characters is a little bit wobbly so far, but I'm starting to feel invested now. The main character works as a photographer, which we love, and she's starting sewing again. And honestly, as someone who makes videos for her job and also takes sewing classes, I'm feeling really connected to the character right now. Also, burnout, kind of an expert on that. So I don't know, it's just nice when a character really does have similar interests to you. I'm like, oh, we probably would have been friends. I'm socially awkward as fuck too when I see a fine man, because this woman had the most awkward encounter with a handsome man, which I think we all know who that is probably going to be. The dynamic between Allie and Charlie is still kind of to be determined. Do they know each other? Does he know who she is? Do they have any previous interaction with each other? Like, it's still very vague, and I kind of like that, because, you know, romances are often pretty straightforward, but I feel like the longer you're kind of kept guessing, the more engaging it is, especially if you read a lot of romance. I feel really nostalgic for the setting. Immediately, it's exactly how I described it earlier. It just feels like the way sunscreen smells. It's so good. I haven't been that quick with reading. I still have an hour and 40 minutes to go. So I feel like I've been reading for 50 minutes. The math isn't really mathing, to be honest. But I also took some breaks, like making coffee, running to the bathroom, and I didn't pause it. So that might contribute. I don't know. I don't know. I've never timed how quickly I read. So this will be really interesting to see how long it will take me actually in hours to finish this book, and then I can kind of see how many words I would read per minute, I guess, or how many pages. I think that would be cool. I think it'll be good to have something that's digestible and comfortable, where I already know that I'll have a good time, instead of picking up a book and, you know, still being unfamiliar with the author, etc. This just, it feels so good. It feels so good. Okay guys, I'm back inside and I want to talk about the book. How long have I been reading? I have 57 minutes left. So I've been reading for over an hour and a half. I'm at page 83 and I'm now in a text conversation with Allie and her siblings. And I have to say, I've been grinning a lot and smiling and you know, to the book. The banter so far is phenomenal. It's great. I love an overly confident man, and I love it when a woman is like being snappy back. And I like that she kind of had to come out of her shell, but it's happening. And the sense of humor is just really picking up, and I love that. I love humor in a book, and I am just having a really, really good time. I'm genuinely smiling because I'm just excited. So that feels really good. That's what I want from a summer romance, you know? So yeah, I am going to take a break. I only have an hour of reading left, so I can do that in between. I have some work to do. I want to take a nap, so I'm gonna do that. But so far, very fun, very excited. All good things. Okay, update. It's 6 p.m. I'm at page 133 and I have 5 minutes left on my timer. But I have a meeting, so I'm saving my minutes for tonight when I get into bed. I'm having a really, really good time. But I'll catch up with you tomorrow probably. Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. I woke up at 8. Unfortunately, I had a migraine last night. I had a meeting for a volunteering project. After I came home, I had 5 minutes left on my timer. I went into bed thinking that I was going to read, and then I got my migraine. Luckily, that passed, and I did end up reading before I fully went to sleep. Because I did want to reach the time limit, which isn't the healthiest thing to do when you have a migraine, to be thinking about that, but I took good care of myself, so don't worry, please. I wouldn't have read if I felt bad. But I ended up reading for well over 5 minutes, but that's okay. That was 2 hours and 45 minutes of reading. Today, I have a bit of a weird screen time because on Tuesday, May 6th, I hit 3 hours and 54 minutes. I'll explain to you why. I don't have YouTube, the app, on my phone, which might be very ironic since it's my job. I end up watching random YouTube videos and that doesn't make me feel good. If I watch a lot of YouTube content, it makes me compare myself. So I try to be intentional of the time that I watch YouTube. I generally try to be intentional with my digital time. I don't have the app, so I watch it on my browser, but in screen time, it adds it as double. It adds to the Safari screen time and to YouTube still, which is kind of weird. Before I went to bed on Monday night, I put on ASMR on Safari, and so my screen stays on. So I have at least 30 minutes that is YouTube in the night, so I'm not going to count that as my screen time. I know that that kind of negates a little bit of the challenge, but I was sleeping when my screen was on, so that doesn't really feel like I should be adding to that, you know? And then also, like, you can see here at my Safari screen time that it was in the middle of the night. That was between 2 or 3. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a really hard time falling back to sleep, ASMR really helps. I have 31 minutes of ASMR at night, and then at 11 I did a 25-minute yoga nidra session, and that also doesn't count as screen time to me because I'm laying down doing meditation. So it basically brings it down to 3 hours. Actually, I'm already well on my way within those 3 hours because this morning I woke up and I really wanted to read. I wanted a slow morning, so I read for like 45 minutes in bed. And so I now have 2 hours and 7 minutes left on my timer. I am this far into the book. I'm at page 190. I'm having such a good, wholesome time. I love Friends to Lovers. And that is the strength, I feel like, in Carly Fortune's like previous book about this family, about Sam and Percy. That was like childhood best friends to lovers, second chance romance. And the friendship was so well-rounded for me in my brain. And I'm loving the friendship that's blooming here and the way that they are talking to each other and the openness and, I don't know, of course, the sexual tension. And once again, it's so summery and sweet, so I'm having a wonderful time. Because I had a migraine and that makes me feel a bit loopy, I don't feel great today and I have work in the afternoon. My friend is coming over in about 30 minutes and we're gonna sit outside, have a coffee. After that, I'll just see how I feel. Of course, I'm gonna think about my health first. If I can read a bit after that, then I will. We're just gonna see how far along we get with the 2 hours and 7 minutes. I think that I'll do an hour somewhere today before work and then an hour before bed. I want to go to bed earlier anyways and wind down a bit better. I've not been doing that. I've been on my phone till way too late, hence the screen time, of course. I'm usually at an average of around 2 hours of screen time at most, and I really try to keep it that way. I talk about that in a whole separate video about my screen time and everything, but I've just been working my old job again and I do the social media there, so of course that adds to screen time. There are many moments where I'm using Google Maps, and just generally I've been clicking away the time limit on my Instagram, which is why I don't like having Instagram on my phone, but it's now part of my part-time job as well, so it has to be on my phone. Otherwise, all the accounts get logged out, I have to re-download the app, it's a whole thing. But I'm really still navigating how to work with having those apps on my phone and using them for work, and then not using them in my downtime. It's just a coping mechanism to grab my phone and scroll. But anyway, we're hoping to change that and read more. So I'm going to probably read for another 20 minutes till my friend comes. I'm just gonna sit outside. I feel like I might finish this today. I don't know how I feel about that because I have the rest of the week to go. Well, we'll see. Let's just finish this first. Okay, it's 6, I'm back from work, and it's time for me to continue reading because I have an hour and a half left. I'm definitely tired and not really in the mood to read, but I want to finish on time. So this is where it starts to get slightly challenging. But I think that the biggest issue with the experience so far has been just remembering to set a timer and bringing my phone with me. Other than that, it's been pretty chill. Not gonna lie, it's kind of nice. Reading update. I'm very happy because the controversial thing that I talked about is being talked about. So I'm very, very happy that it's coming up. I'm gonna be so kind to myself and I'm gonna go buy myself some ice cream. I got the goods. Invest in yourself, babes. Get the expensive ice cream. I did bring my book because I was hoping that I could go out to the woods, find a little spot, sit down on a blanket, read my book, eat my ice cream, but I didn't bring a spoon. And this is a bit too much to just, you know, lick out of the tub. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I'm just gonna sit in the backyard. I had to do some other groceries anyway, so. I will say I do feel much better after going out into the real world. Not sad anymore, so I feel like I'm ready to read again. I look quite pretty. I'm kidding. I want to start this off by telling you that I'm on my period. Every time I read a romance, it reminds me of my heartbreak and someone. It's just a little overwhelming because it's, you know, it's a romance. Everything is romanticized. Everything is better than reality, but it makes me romanticize. That's just always gonna be a little bit hard, I think. I don't know if anyone relates to this. I don't ever hear anyone talk about this. Why? It's just a little confronting at times, I think, because there will be moments that are very similar to personal experiences, maybe. It's like, I remember this. I remember feeling that way. Or, oh, I remember when they did this. And I used to love it when they did that. And blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It just makes me sad. So I'm done with my timer. I'm at page 329. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to go over my screen time and just read for fun, or if I'm going to deduct it from tomorrow's time. Would that be cheating? I have free will, I make my own rules. I'm going to deduct it from tomorrow, probably. And then I'll see, but I want to keep reading. I did cry a lot. I cried so much. It's 9:12 and I finished it. I think I had the 5-star feelings. Guys, it's Wednesday and it's 9:45 p.m. I haven't read a single thing. I have 2 hours and 6 minutes that I need to read, but yesterday I went well over my time. So that leaves me at about an hour and a half, which would be doable if I started reading now and read till 12. However, I had a very, very long day. I had work. Me and my dad bought a drone and we were flying that, testing it out. And I had a lot of editing work to do as well. So I was working double and it was all very intense. And I'm just really tired. So I'm going to get ready for bed and I'm going to take good care of myself. I'm not that strict with myself tonight. So we'll see how far we get, and I will add the time that I don't read today to tomorrow probably. But the whole day I was thinking about it, which made me sad. I was like, I have to read my book. What about the hours? Da, 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 da. And I didn't like that. So but that's the thing about a challenge, right? It's supposed to be challenging, but it's kind of challenging when you literally don't have the physical time to sit like this. So yeah, I'm gonna get ready for bed and then hopefully read at least a little bit, because that'll save me time tomorrow. I'm not appropriately dressed to film, but I set my timer. Hour, 35 minutes, which is with the deducted half hour that I read extra yesterday. And we're just gonna see how far we get. This is Autumn by Karl Ove Knausgaard. Until I fall asleep, any time that I have left, I will catch up on tomorrow. Alright, good night. See you in the next clip. Good morning. It's Thursday, 10 a.m. I had a very slow start, which is what I wanted, but I didn't sleep so well. And then this morning I did some ASMR work stuff. I try to really not do that in the morning, but I was so on because I'd worked till so late last night. Anyway, wasn't the best, but we're here. I read for about 30 minutes last night. I kept getting distracted by my phone. I was just too stressed and not interested in the book enough to be invested in it. So I was skimming over the pages. I had to reread pages, getting distracted left and right. I was like, it's just not the time for me to be reading right now. So I have 53 minutes left of catch-up reading from yesterday, and then for today, Thursday, it's 2 hours and 23 minutes, so it's basically 3 hours and 20 minutes. Guys, I have so much work to do and stuff to do, and I'm low energy that I really am starting to feel like I'm not gonna make it through the challenge, because tomorrow's screen time is like 4 hours. I'll talk about that tomorrow, but I'm reading Karl Ove Knausgaard Autumn, and it's basically kind of a diary. It gets kind of dark, but it's also beautiful at times. He's writing it for his daughter who isn't born yet. There are also like pages like this in it. It's gorgeous, but it's very short little segments. That makes it easier to read. It makes it a bit quicker to get through. I'm not sold on it yet, and I'm not really connecting to it, which is making it really hard if I have to read for a longer, like an extended period of time. It makes it really hard to grab it again, because the second I put it down, I forget about it. Whereas when I was reading One Golden Summer, I was just thinking about the book because I was in the story, and this isn't really a story, if you will. It's just a collection. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna have breakfast. I have a video to edit that I'm going to get started on, and then I'm going to get back to reading. The sun is out, luckily, so I'm going to sit outside after that and just enjoy reading and being in the sun. Okay, I know this is the most dramatic setup that I could have for an update on my reading vlog, but I spent my evening looking at my ASMR video setup and I was doing a bunch of stuff with the lighting. I have a different lens on it that I normally don't use for vlogging. This is a 35, I normally film with a 20 for all the nerds out there. I failed today's challenge and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to accept it. I'm giving into it because I'm just not gonna make the hours today. I'm just not. I think I have about an hour and a half left. It's 10 p.m. I have to go to bed because tomorrow I just have things to do. Instead of being proud of the fact that I managed to read for over an hour today, even though I was busy with a lot of things, I kept talking down on myself because I'm not reading all the hours and I'm not doing the challenge right and blah blah blah. But that's kind of sad because I did read for over an hour in a book that I was kind of skeptical about and that I'm really loving right now, and I'm actually kind of excited to read more, but to take my time digesting what I'm reading. So I'm running into a couple bumps, I guess. Tomorrow I will talk to you about the screen time and the reading, but for today I'm just going to say that I failed today. I don't mind because I did read an hour and that's what matters. I will see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Friday. I'm not super excited about today's reading challenge. I had a screen time of 4 hours and 43 minutes. Why, you may ask? Well, this is the day that I re-downloaded Hinge. So I spent a long time curating my profile. I'm very committed to that. So that really added up to the screen time, and I spent an hour and a half on Instagram. Why, you may ask? Because I posted a carousel and I have a public Instagram. I'm paranoid about my privacy, and I was editing the photos and putting it together, and I also obviously scrolled and did all the things, but that added up. So 4 hours 43 minutes, let's go. It's 2:30 p.m. Could I have started earlier? Yes, but I was working this morning, and if you can't tell, I'm filming on a new camera because I had ordered a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I've been eyeing it for months. When I say months, I mean months. And they upped the prices. It was really hard to get one, and I found one on MPB, so I got it secondhand and it's in perfect condition, but I'm trying it out. So I got distracted doing all the settings and everything, but now I have time to read. So I'm still reading this one. I am currently 157 pages in. Yes, 157. So that's kind of over midway. I think I'm going to finish this today. I mean, if I have almost 5 hours of reading to do, then I will definitely finish this today. And then I'll see what I'll read next. I do want to go into town. I have a couple errands to run. I might do that as a break. But first we're just gonna read. I'm gonna sit outside, relax, and read. It's the weekend now, I'm off from work, I did all the things. I'm so overwhelmed and I could really use some me time, though the fact that I'm filming this as a challenge doesn't feel a lot like me time, but it still is because I'll end up reading in the backyard, so it's not that big a deal. Let's start. Alright, it's 7:30. I still have 3 hours and 40 minutes of reading left. I'm starting to get nervous, but I'm gonna pull through. I have to I have it on tracking mode, I'm really sorry, but that way I can show you my bed that I haven't made this morning. I have to set the mood for a reading night because it's going to be hours and hours and hours of reading. Here's a pile of stuff that we're not going to talk about. We're going to ignore that. That's tomorrow's me problem. But I think I'm going to turn on the cozy lights, light a candle. It's kind of gloomy out. Oh my god, I can show you so many things from this angle. It's crazy. Anyway, gonna make it cozy, gonna make it evening vibes. I grabbed a cup of tea, then I think we're ready to go. I have about 60 pages left in Autumn. I really like it. It's very cute. It's very deep. I like his writing style and I like the way that he looks at the world, and that's been interesting. However, this is not a book that I would normally kind of push myself through. This would be one that I kind of balance with another book because I do want to kind of think a little more, because I don't have it in me to start a new book right now. We're just gonna be reading this one. But then when I finish that one, I do have Animal by Lisa Taddeo here, which is also from the library. Autumn is also from the library. So I want to get started on this one when I finish that. And I hope that I'll finish that within the hour. And then I can get to this one. I'll get 2 hours-ish in and we're just gonna see. I've learned a lot already from this challenge, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's get cozy and comfy and read for 3 hours and 40 minutes. As predicted, I finished it and I have 3 hours left on the clock. It's 8:45, 8:45, and I'm definitely tired. I also really didn't read in one go. I took 2 breaks. One was to internet shop and one was to check something for work. There were like 5 to 10 minute breaks, but the idea of having to read another 3 hours is not making me happy. About Autumn, but you can't even, oh, had it upside down. I was like, you can't see the title, it's because it's not there. Oh my god. I was a little skeptical in the beginning of the book. I wasn't really sure what to expect. The reason that I read this or picked this up is because Karl Ove Knausgård wrote Morning Star, and that's a book that I'm really interested in, but it's a big one. So I don't know, I haven't picked it up. One of my friends was really excited about it and recommended it to me. And then I saw this at the library and I was like, this might actually be a good choice to delve into his writing and see if I like it. And I actually really, really do. This is just a collection of the inside of his mind, I guess, and then letters to his unborn daughter. He has 4 books in this series, so he has autumn, winter, spring, and summer. There are just random little chapters about eyes, about birds, about throwing up, about artists that he randomly loves or admires, about memories, about war, about... There's just all these random little chapters, and he just kind of... Here you can see all the... Like, there are more. Babies, cars, loneliness, experience, lice, Van Gogh, faces, pain, morning glory, phones. It's so random, but it's beautiful the way that he looks at the world. I loved his comparisons and just, it's basically his field notes, I guess. And it was very enjoyable to read. Like I said earlier, this wouldn't have been a book that I would read in one session or that I would continue to read for hours, because I like the idea of digesting what he said so I have the time to connect to what he said. Because there were so many beautiful quotes in here that I didn't get to underline because it's from the library, but that I would have liked to let seep into my brain a bit more, if you know what I mean. So I would definitely recommend the book. I would just recommend taking your time with it and don't read it when you're challenging yourself. And because it's almost 9, I'm gonna go downstairs, maybe take a shower and go lie in bed so that I don't have anything else that I need to do and I can just focus on the reading. I think I failed the challenge. It's 11. I'm going to bed. I have 2 hours. I'm not gonna do it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alright, good morning. It's Saturday. I didn't complete the time last night because I was just too tired. And today I have a really strong headache and I feel very dizzy. So I'm not gonna keep force reading. I have a couple reflections on the challenge. It's the first time I've ever done a challenge, I think, in general. And it was a lot harder than I thought, but I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that I was underprepared and I had a lot more work than usual. And I had a migraine, which kind of lingers usually, which is why I've just been feeling off this week. We had a really strong start with One Golden Summer. Probably 80% of this video is a One Golden Summer reading vlog. I loved this. I had that 5-star feeling and I haven't had that in so long that I really had that feeling of like, I want to dive into this book. Like I want to be able to like crawl through the pages and enter the world that it's set in. So this is a 10 out of 10. Yeah. And I also finished Autumn by Karl Ove Knausgård. We've talked about these books, but my final rating is that this is an 8 out of 10. So I read really good books and I started reading Animal and so far I'm really hooked. I had a really good time reading this and that's the thing. It's all been good. It's just the fact that I have to sit and focus while I feel like my to-do list is piling up. And that stressed me out so much that I decided to quit last night because it was around 11. I still had 2 hours on the clock and I already had a headache, but I kept reading. And then I was kind of thinking to myself, why am I doing this? I don't know, call me weak or whatever, but I was just like, why am I doing this? So, yeah. I feel like if I had planned it a bit more and like had taken care of work things, I would have been able to schedule the reading time a lot better. But because I had kind of spontaneous work appointments and then some YouTube work that came up, it all just went so differently than I thought it would. So that definitely makes me sad. I'm a little disappointed. I'm trying not to be, because I did at the end of the day finish 2 books that maybe would have taken me a month. And I started a book that was just sitting on my shelf. Well, it's from the library, so it's been sitting there for a couple of weeks, but I already extended once. And now I'm finally really getting to it because I had to pick something because I still had hours to read left. And I think that that's really cool because at least I'm reading now, which is the point. So it had some positives, it had some negatives. It was also really nice to have dedicated time and space to really read and be like, okay, I can't do anything else, I have to read. A thing for me really is that the more pressure there is, as in I have to do this, I don't know, the less I want to. If I know that I have to read, instead of being like, oh, I get to read for a long time, I'm like, but I also have to do this and this and this and this, and I'm thinking about all the things I can't do because I have to read. So yeah. Maybe this challenge isn't for me. I don't know, I have to let it all sink in, but like I said, headache. So I'm going to relax. I hope that you still enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've ever done a challenge like this and how it worked for you. This was mostly just a reminder to me that my screen time was atrocious, and that's something to work on again. I'm someone who kind of prides herself on being good with her phone and mindful and not having that much screen time, but then if I don't pay attention to it, it piles up so easily, and that was definitely last week. I will say the fact that I read more this week doesn't mean that I had a lot less screen time. It wasn't like I now didn't have any screen time. Anyway, going to end the vlog here. Thank you so much for watching, for giving me your time. Leave a comment below if you made it this far. I will gladly see you in my next video. Here's a forehead kiss. Bye!